We're here at the Olympic Velodrome, located on the campus of California State University, Dominguez Hills. This is the Olympic Velodrome. This is where they had the 1984 Olympics. There's a special field, United States against the Soviet Union, as you look around here, because obviously the Soviets weren't here in '84.
Well, that's correct. They've never been to the Olympic Velodrome here in Los Angeles. They did visit last year in the World Cycling Championships in Colorado Springs. But this is a head-to-head meet, and for a lot of the Soviet riders, it's the first time that they've ever been able to compete in the United States, and they've had many of them have said they've had a great vacation, and they've become great tourists as well.
Well, a lot of people are on hand. We had to hold up the starting competition for about 10 minutes here in suburban Los Angeles to accommodate the crowd who's sort of late arriving. It is very warm, as we mentioned. It is over 100 degrees. And there are the United States team. Art Gorski, Scott Berryman, Nelson Vales, Bobby Livingston, and Leonard Harvey Nitz will go for the American in the 5-lap current.
It's a good, strong field, and the Americans have apparently decided that they're going to go for speed rather than endurance in this one, as they've got most of their sprinters in there. The only two riders that can be construed as endurance riders would be Mike McCarthy, who's the youngest member on the team, and also Leonard Harvey Nitz. These two are pursuit specialists, although with plenty of speed.
Now, this is a semifinal. The top 3 Americans will go against the top 3 Soviets, and we finally get around to our final event.
That's correct. We've got 2 heats. We'll take the top 3 out of each one. The Americans race against each other for this one, and the Soviets against each other in heat number 2. The top 3 from each heat will meet each other in the final of this Kieran event.
This is relatively a new event, as you talked about before, Brian. How experienced are these teams with this?
Well, they're very experienced. At least some of them are. Many of the riders have competed in these kind of as for fun. It's an event in the World Cycling Championships for professionals. These are amateurs, so they're not as experienced as pro riders would be. They've drawn for position behind what will be a motorcycle lead-out or a pace by motorcycle. There's the motorcycle circling the track. The riders are lined up down in the infield, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in the positions that they've drawn, and they're going to get ready to be pushed in behind the motorcycle as it comes by. They'll settle in behind that bike. The motorcycle will gradually increase its speed and then just slingshot them off at about 40 miles an hour to the finish line. Here we go. 5 laps to go. The riders will get in behind that motorcycle, and we're off and running.
Which is the most advantageous position?
Well, either right behind the motorcycle if you feel like you're very fast from the front, but it seems like classically that position number 2 is the place to be, and you'll see a lot of elbowing and jockeying for that number 2 spot behind the bike.
Even among the U.S. teams?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the honor here is to get in the top 3 to go to the final, so you're going to want to be first, second, or third and fight awful hard for it. If you don't get first, second, or third, you get to sit on the bench and watch your buddies hold up your end for you.
Now, you can't pass that motorcycle.
That's correct. You cannot pass the motorcycle until it leaves the track with a little over a lap to go. It'll swing down into the infield. Now, Nelson Vales, number 22 there, has tucked himself right behind the motorcycle. There's a little roller on the back of that motorcycle so that if his wheel would happen to touch, he'll be able to, the wheel will just spin that little roller and he won't have a problem there.
Nelson Vales, an Olympic silver medalist out of Surfside, California.
That's right. Nelson lives here in the area, so he's got a lot of hometown fans and friends in the stands, no doubt about that. He spends a lot of time on the beach, and he's turned from a Harlem native into a California boy.
Well, he was in a movie.
That's correct. He was in a movie. He was featured. He was a bicycle messenger in New York City. And a lot of people know the story about how Nelson Vales, the bicycle messenger, went on to win an Olympic medal, a Pan American gold. They recently made a movie called Quicksilver, and Nelson was featured in the opening. There's the motorcycle. It swung off the track in the middle of the backstretch with a lap and a half to go. Nelson Vales is the engine right now, and the rest of the train is lined up behind him. 1 lap to go with a bell ringing right now. Nelson Vales in the front. Mike McCarthy of the United States, the youngest member of the team, sitting in 2nd spot. And in 3rd spot, it's Bobby Livingston, another young rider, and he's from Atlanta, Georgia. They have left the other 3 behind. A gap has opened up, so it looks like 1st, 2nd, and 3rd is going to be real easy to determine here. And Nelson Vales is going to take it from the front for 1st. In 2nd is going to be Mike McCarthy, and in 3rd spot, Bobby Livingston. Those 3 earn the right to face the Soviets in the final.
So Nelson Vales, the winner here as we get underway with the current competition.
And there he is, Nelson Vales, congratulating one of his teammates. He wins the first heat of the 5-lap Kieran competitions and will represent the United States against the Soviets. Their race is coming up next. Here's the replay. Nelson Vales with a lot of power at the front there. He tucked in right behind the motorcycle and decided, when in doubt, lead it out. He's going to go for the front and make everybody else try to come around him. Nobody did. Here's Nelson. Real powerful style. stroking through the turn right there. You can see that Mike McCarthy is trying to make a run at him, but Nelson's a sprinter. Mike McCarthy is a pursuit rider, more of an endurance specialist, doesn't have the kind of speed that Nelson does. There you can see them all looking around, and the other three are nowhere to be found.
Here are the three Americans now that will advance against the Soviets in the current competition. Nelson Vales, Mike McCarthy, and Bobby Livingston go 1, 2, 3. They'll face the Soviets. There's your team now for the 5-lap current semifinal for the Soviet Union. Kirichenko, Baronin, Robstov, Umarov, Ganeyev, and Saltabaldiev will be the 6 Soviets, the top 3 of which will advance to the final against the United States.
That's right, and this is a powerhouse team. This is like who's who in international amateur cycling competition. The Soviets have filled their entire squad with world champions and world record holders, and the only rider in this 6-man group that's wearing a different uniform is the 4th one from the front, and that is Gintas Umaras, who is the current world champion in the individual pursuit and a world record holder as well. His teammates lined up ahead of him. In the front is Oleg Baronin, and in the second spot, he's drawn second position, Alexander Kirichenko, and in the third spot, Marat Saltabaldiev is in third spot, then Umaras and the other 2. So again, first, second, and third will advance to meet Nelson Vales, Mike McCarthy, and Bobby Livingston in our Kieran final.
Soviet Union with an 11-point lead overall in the competition, 48-37. Obviously, there won't be any points exchanged right here, but the Soviet men have dominated.
They certainly have. And conversely, the American women have kept the American team in this competition. They have not dominated, but they have been consistently piling up points a little bit better than the men have been able to muster so far.
Thoughts running through those guys' minds? They sit there in the bike waiting for that motorcycle. How are they feeling, Brian?
Well, they've got to be feeling a couple of things. First of all, as we said before, this is an unusual event. It's an event normally reserved for professionals in World Championship competition. And, of course, the Soviets and most of the Eastern Bloc countries concentrate on Olympic events. So this is something new to them, although the basic principle is still much the same. First guy over the finish line wins.
And we're off in the 5-lap current.
And first underway is number 5, Oleg Baronin of the Soviet Union, and they have pretty much maintained their original positions, whereas the Americans did a little bit of shuffling early on. Now they're looking for where they want to be, moving up into second position, and now even joining the leader is number 6, Konstantin Kravtsov. Now Konstantin is the oldest member of the Soviet team. He's 29 years old, and maybe he's looking to be the figurative, if not literal, leader in this Kieran heat here. He's right next to his own teammate. Now number 5, Oleg Baronin, allows Kravtsov to move in behind the motorcycle, apparently impressed with the success of Nelson Vales in the American heat.
Now the motorcycle will gradually build speed, right, lap by lap?
That's correct. He'll gradually increase the speed, and he is forming a wind draft for the other riders. They would not be able to get up to speed as easily without that motorcycle. The motorcycle whirls them up to about 35 to 40 miles an hour and then just slingshots them on their way to the finish line. They're already traveling flat out, and it's high-speed tactics at the end of this one.
333 meters around the track, right?
One lap is a third of a kilometer, and the motorcycle will leave with about a lap and a half to go to the finish. He's starting to wind them up right now, and you can see the leg speed beginning to increase. The pedal cadence of the riders will start to increase from when they began this event, and now they're starting to get up to speed.
How fast is that motorcycle going?
He's doing better than 30 miles an hour right now, and it's kind of a thing where, and there he's moved off into the infield and put on the brakes, leaving him off to go, and in the front is Konstantin Kravtsov. He'll come around to get the bell first, and it looks as though the Soviets are experiencing the same kind of a problem. There's a split in the middle. They've got 3 and 3 right now. Here's Gintas Umaras, the world champion, trying to move up into that front group. He wants to qualify to represent the Soviet Union, and look at him go. Umaras, the world champion, making a move from 4th spot up to 3rd right now.
And making a run at 2nd as he comes around the far turn.
There he is in the white jersey, but still up in the front is Kravtsov, the oldest member and one of the sprinters, now moving into the lead to take this heat. It is going to be number 4, Alexander Kirichenko, the younger of the 2 sprinters on this team. Alexander is a silver medal in the Soviet National Championships, and a very fast young rider, 20 years old.
Umarov closed fast and finished 2nd.
Certainly did. He's in there for the final. That's all he needed to do. 3rd place, I believe, went to Konstantin Kravtsov, the 29-year-old from Moscow.
Coming up now called Win and Out.
Win and out. The first 5, they'll get a free lap sort of rolling start. Give everybody a chance to find the place on the track that they want to be in. Then they'll fire the gun. There'll be 5 laps to jockey for position at high speed. The bell will ring. The first rider over the line the next time around is the winner of the race. and he's out. He can quit. Watch the others race. The next time around, it's second place. The following time, third place. In for the Soviet Union, Konstantin Kravtsov, Oleg Voronin, Marat Ganeev, and Marat Satibaldiev.
United States has Berryman, Vales, Livingston, and Nitt.
And 4-on-4, and this race right here is going to be a very interesting one indeed. Like the Kieran, this is something that the Soviet riders, for instance, concentrating on Olympic events as they do, may not have ridden very often, although they understand the principles, because a bike racer is a bike racer, and they're able to do all the different kinds of events. At the front right now is Marat Ganeev. He is the world champion in the points race, which is the only event that's even remotely similar to this in World Championship competition. That is a massed start event. Lots of riders on the track at once.
Nelson Vales of the United States has the lead at the moment.
And there's just going to be, you know, the lead at this point is not significant. They're going to be trying to set their teammates up for victory here. Now, Nelson Vales goes to the front. He's obviously not at maximum speed or anything even close to it. They're just kind of looking around and waiting for somebody to make a move. Nelson swings up the track and tries to find a spot a little further towards the back, maybe to wait for a surprise move or just to settle into somebody's draft and take it easy back there.
Ganeev of the Soviet Union now has taken over.
Ganeev, again, the world champion in the points race. He won his title in Austria earlier in the year, and he is a youngster. He's 23 years old. And he is from Kubyshev on the Volga River in the Soviet Union, home of the Volga boatmen. He goes to the front. He's got the strength to stay there for as long as he'd like.
Got Berryman of the United States.
And Leonard Harvey Nitz. Leonard Harvey is the senior member of the team in every way. Harvey has been at the top of this game for more years than I'd want to remember. In 1988, he'll be going for his 4th Olympic team. And his career has not taken a single dip. He has been at the top of the sport of cycling for so long. I have a tremendous amount of respect, and so do all the other racers, for Leonard Harvey Nitz. In fact, Eddie B., the coach, consults with Harvey on who to put in an event like this. Down the backstretch now, the Soviets all massed near the front of the field. The Americans trying to poke themselves in there. Number 21, Scott Berryman, down low on the track. And now we have the first dive towards the finish line here with 1 lap to go for the winner of the race. First rider over the line next time is the winner of this bike race. Leonard Harvey Nitz, number 24, decides he's going to lead it out. He's getting a big challenge now from Konstantin Kravtsov, who is the oldest member of the Soviet team. So you got the 2 older guys, and it looks like Kravtsov is going to be unchallenged for first place in this one. Konstantin Kravtsov from Moscow. 3rd place in the World Kilometer Championships this year. He wins the win and out here in our meet. Now, it looks like everybody else is going to settle in. 1 lap to go for 2nd place now, Bob.
Nelson Vales of the United States running 2nd, but now the Soviet Union taking the lead in the far turn.
And it looks like Marat Satibaldiev who's taken that lead. No, it is Ganeev, but coming back, Nelson Vales. Nelson Vales brings it back, takes 2nd place, and on is Marat Ganeev, the world point race champion. Doesn't look like he's going to have a problem for 3rd, although he's getting a challenge now coming out of the field of the Americans. Down the backstretch, nobody in the picture with Ganeev, the world champion.
Here comes Ganeev. Looks like he's going to cruise home to 3rd. Ganeev of the Soviet Union.
And there, way behind him, the American Leonard Harvey Nitz, trying to sweep in for 4th spot, but all the money places, so to speak, are gone. Leonard Harvey Nitz alone on the backstretch. Bobby Livingston left to race against the other 2 Soviet riders. There's Leonard Harvey Nitz, who will finish 4th.
Here's your winner in the win and out now. Konstantin Kravtsov of the Soviet Union comes in number 1.
He's the old man of the team, and it's interesting that he took his move off the old man, so to speak, of the American team, Leonard Harvey Nitz. Konstantin Kravtsov, the winner, followed by Nelson Vales of the United States. Ganeev, the world point race champion, takes 3rd, and young Bobby Livingston from Atlanta, Georgia, 4th.